Good evening, everybody. I'm going to call our Monday, April 4th, Common Council meeting to order. Megan, will you take the roll, please?
Davis?
Here.
Went?
Here.
Ritten?
Here.
Bartz?
Here.
Licht?
Here.
Wagner?
Here.
Schmid?
Here.
Wetzel?
Here.
Romling?
Here.
Very good. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the first item on our agenda is the minutes of the council meeting from March 15th. Comments or questions on those minutes? All right, seeing none. Our next item is comments or suggestions from citizens present. I do just want to mention, we do have a public hearing, so if you're here to comment on the public hearing, just wait a couple more minutes. But if you would otherwise like to comment, you can certainly come up to the microphone and state your name and address. All right, very good. So let's go to that public hearing. This is a public hearing to consider the requests of Candace and Robert Grams for Plan Unit Development, General Development, and Precise Implementation Plan. They are proposing to maintain the prior land use of indoor commercial entertainment with operating hours past 11 p.m., which exceeds the requirement for neighborhood business. I will call the public hearing to order. If anyone would like to comment, you can go to the microphone by Alderperson Davis, and please state your name and address.
My name's Tim Meinhardt, live at 114 South Monroe Street. Our property backs up against that property, and our neighborhood is a family neighborhood. We would just prefer that the regular operating hours be adhered to at this time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else that would like to comment?
Sure, Brad Hayes from Hayes Family Auto. We have adjoining properties at 725 and 734 and 731 West Main Street. My biggest concern is parking. If we drive up and down Main Street, if we drive up and down Church Street, I look at the business corridor as being from like Walgreens, Jimmy John's to, say, Hardee's. So those businesses rely on on-street parking, city parking like we parked in tonight. But any other business, whether it's on Church Street, whether it's West Main, or say from Hardee's east to the gas house that I just heard about, they all have parking lots. So my biggest concern is, well, threefold, I guess, but my biggest concern is the fact that everybody's going to park for this tavern on Main Street. I prefer no parking on Main Street. We all have parking lots. Glenn's Market has a parking lot. Randy Sturwald has a parking lot. Hardee's, Zwiggs, Deegs. I'm going to spend over $12,000 this year just seal coating my parking lot. So to enter into a new business without the capital investment of a parking lot, I think there's plenty of land if something like that were to be approved. There's 4 parking spots in front of the land that we own. And I think if Glenn or Jeff Roberts was here, they'd say the same thing, like, no, we want to invite our guests onto our property. We pay a lot of money for parking. We'll let them use that space. That creates better visibility of, the business that we have 11 full-time employees, at. And the second one, if you're headed eastbound and you hit the railroad tracks, you can count them, 7 parking spots on the east side of Main Street before you get to the first parking spot heading westbound. So there's 7 spots there versus yellow line on the westbound way. So for my business especially, I don't want to lose that visibility of people parking for a business that they do have ample acreage there if they want to put a parking lot. And thirdly, I'd say, and I don't think the Grahams realize this, and it's really not their issue, but while the last bar, I think there's been 4 bars since we've owned the property for 16 years, there's been 2 police reports on file, that can be looked up. The first one is a junky old Chevy Impala at 5 in the morning that was perched off of a retaining wall and had to be towed off. And the second one was the day after we, not seal coated, but after we paved our lot, there was rutted tire marks through our brand-new parking lot. It cost me $600 to have fixed. Now, can I prove that the patrons were, at the Cherry Bomb the night before? Well, there were beer bottles out there, which is also in the police report, and I don't think the people that paved my parking lot that particular day were drinking on the job. So I guess the point is, when the bar was closed, we've had obviously no issue, and we're gonna continue to have issues. We have $300,000 or $400,000 of inventory at that location that we've improved. We did a nice little green space, we've added trees, nobody asked for, we did it all ourselves. And now we're gonna have patrons that have been drinking, and they all do U-turns in our parking lot. So we'd have to choose between shutting down our parking lot or allowing our guests, which we advertise, spend a lot of money, to drive in there, get out of their car, look around. So, I mean, those are my primary concerns. To shut down a place that wants to serve pizza and a Miller Lite and a glass of wine, maybe different story, close at 8 or 9 o'clock at night. But, I mean, there's plenty of places to go for taverns, and I don't think we're lacking that in our city, so that's my comment.
Thank you. Anyone else that would like to comment?
Hi, I'm Robert Grams. I've owned the business for like 15 years. I've been leasing the tavern out because we haven't actively ran it since I was transferred out of state. But we do have parking behind the building. We have parking for at least 15 cars back there. And we plan on expanding the parking a few feet over, probably give us room for 20. But from what I understand, most people park in the back and they use minimal parking on Highway 19, Main Street. The turnaround issue, what I see, and what I normally do is I use Glenn's because they have room. I don't know where they turn around in a car dealership. And I don't know anything about the damage that was caused in the beer bottles. I couldn't say that was from the Cherry Bomb, but we do have parking in the back behind the building.
Okay,
So, thank you.
thank you. Would anyone else like to comment on this topic? And if anyone remotely would like to comment, you can say so now. All right, I will close that public hearing. Those comments will go back to the Plan Commission. All right, let's go on then to our reports. You all have the Park, Rec, and Forestry minutes of March 7th, Plan Commission from February 14th, Police and Fire Commission from February 21st, Public Works from March 8th and March 22nd, Site Plan from March 14th, and the Youth Advisory Committee from March 16th. Does anyone have any comments or questions on any of those minutes? All
I have a
right.
question.
Yes.
Planning Committee, the section about METC, which I know happened a long time ago, on February 14th. I just have a question about stormwater there. It says that it meets the standard. I think at least some of us realize that that northwest section of Watertown behind METC has historically bad stormwater problems. So I'll form this into a question. When the Great Flood happened in 2008, city engineers told us, I live in that section, that there's a constriction of stormwater that is right there on Main Street by Votech, and that it can only hold so much water. And when it gets filled up, that's when we have our lakes that are created, like the one near my house at Western Meadows and Welsh. There's a lake that will develop. It has actually occurred even after the Welsh Road project multiple times. So I'm just wondering if there is enough capacity there to add the extra stormwater. It seems like it says it meets the standard. I don't see any retaining ponds on that property at all. So I'm just curious.
Sure. I'm going to invite, looks like Andrew, to the microphone, but I will speak on the pipe. So we were just in a meeting, I think, like early last week where we were talking about upsizing the pipe that comes off of Main that connects to Irma. Were you in that meeting with me?
I don't think so.
Okay, so it, anybody in that meeting with me? Mark, very good. So that still is an 8-inch pipe, if I'm remembering my diameters correctly, that we're talking about upsizing to 12?
Yes.
12-inch pipe.
Okay.
So we literally just discussed that last week. I'm going to let you speak, though, to the stormwater requirements on site.
So the MATC project is redevelopment. They're developing a former parking lot with an addition. So as far as impervious surface, they won't be adding to the threshold to our ordinance requirements. So what they have to do on site is meet our pollutant reduction requirements for total suspended solids and total phosphorus, which as proposed, they will meet.
Okay, well, I'm glad to hear about the pipe.
Yeah,
station.
we'll keep you in the, you guys, Finance Committee will probably be the first place to see discussion around that pipe, and it will be under an ARPA topic. So, good question.
Thanks.
Thanks, Andrew. Okay, any other questions on any of the minutes? Okay, we have no old business, then let's go to communications and recommendations, and we have a house full of police officers. So before they get called away, I'd love to invite up Sergeant Leon Reuter and Chief Kaminsky for our employee recognition for this evening. Normally when we do these employee recognitions, everyone gets called out on a call, so we're gonna strike while the iron's hot. I will, yep, that's a microphone you need to speak into, so why don't
All
you
right.
go first? I'll go after.
All right, so we're here to acknowledge Leon's retirement.
You may need to step into the frame just a little bit, Leon. Thank you.
So Sergeant Reuter is retiring after nearly 35 years in law enforcement with the city. Leon was hired in 1987 and worked here until Friday, last week of 2022. Over his 35-year career, Leon has has received numerous awards, including the department's Life-Saving Award and the Commendable Service Award, along with numerous letters of commendation over his career. Leon has served our department and our community in multiple ways, exhibiting flexibility, adaptability, and a capability in many diverse facets of police work, and a lot not in police work, at an uncommonly high level. So he wore many hats at our department throughout his career. He was a police officer, he worked as a dispatcher, he was a detective, a drug officer, and then he supervised officers, detectives, and dispatchers over his career. He instructed our officers in firearms, DAT, less lethal munitions, EVOC, vehicle contacts. I believe he held every state certification for training. Yep, every state certification for training. For years, he's had oversight over our UCR and IBR reporting, and that's all of the crime reporting that we do to the state and to the FBI. He managed our CIS, which is our records program, our Badger tracks, which is the computers in the squads and citations and everything that we do. The time system, our e-time system. He's been involved in our 911 system since probably the beginning. He is our use of force instructor, and he reviews use of force. Our live scan fingerprinting. He worked on live scan fingerprinting up until Friday afternoon when he left here, because I made sure that he was working, because I needed that thing to work before he walked out the door. So he's was in charge of our CCT, our TV, our camera system in the building, generator programs, tower programs, radio programs. He was a firearms armorer, amongst many other things. And whether or not you knew this or not, he was our quasi-IT guy for many, many years, not only for the PD, but for the city. And up until Friday, he was still the IT guy for a lot of us. He's sat on multiple boards over the years, including the State of Wisconsin Firearms Advisory Committee, the Badger Tracks Advisory Committee. He was leadership for Watertown Advisory Board, Southeast Wisconsin Communications Resource and Support Group. So today, it's with sadness that I say Leon is retiring. I've asked him to stay many times. I really have. Up until Friday afternoon when he was leaving, I asked him to stay. He just made my job that much harder by walking out the door, because he has so much institutional knowledge that today, with phone calls for people asking me questions about Microsoft Office and CIS, these would be questions that I would literally say, Leon, we need this fixed. And he would be like, it'll take me a minute and it'll be fixed. So, but he was literally a jack of all trades and a phone call away. I called him all the time. whether he was working or not working at home, for jobs that even weren't his responsibility. The train derailment and so many different things where I just knew Leon was the guy I could call and pick up the phone, and he would just be there. So, but I guess we'll let you retire after 35 years. So, thanks, Leon.
Appreciate you.
So I get the honor of reading this plaque, but I wanted to, I don't have nearly, obviously, the wealth of experience the chief does with Leon, but what I will tell you is there's very few people that I've engaged with in my time here that have been more sincere and kind than Leon is. And when you're in, can't pretend to know what it's like to be in law enforcement, but I spent about a decade in human services, and you see the burnout of people that have to engage with the public in their worst of times, and how much that can take a toll on a person and take a toll on the job that they do. And I never once in any interaction with Leon ever observed even an ounce of pessimism or that burnout mentality that so many people tend to get in public service. And that, I can say, is the first time I've ever seen that. So I am going to miss your kindness and your genuine sincerity and appreciation for this community. And it is honestly one of my greatest honors as mayor to be able to thank you for the work you've done here, and to tell you that I believe that you embody this, and that the quote is that there's no greater challenge and there's no greater honor than to be in public service. So I thank you so much for everything you've given. Please say a few words.
Real short and sweet, I just wanted to thank my family, my wife Lisa, for putting up with me for 35 years in law enforcement, and my children having to be cops' kids. It's not easy. So I know you guys that have kids, it's not easy for them. Just remember that as you go through your career. And I want to say thank you all. It's been a wonderful community to work for, and I'm going to continue to work in the city. So thank you very much.
We'll invite our PFC members up as well. Everyone will take some pictures.
Looking for the camera. That's all I
Yeah.
have.
Jordan's
Yeah,
back
they don't
there.
have to
Yeah,
look
there you
at
go.
it anymore. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thank you
Leah.
guys for coming. Thanks, everybody, for stopping in. Oh, man. All right. Our next item is committee appointments. There are two different versions of committee appointments in your packet. The one that looks more like a memo form are just your FYIs that I promised you each month. And then there are a couple that we still need consideration from the council on, and one is for Public Works. So I'm looking for a motion to accept my appointment of Pete Thompson.
Motion for Pete Thompson.
Thank you. Motion by Wetzel, second by Rumline. Any questions on that one? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, I wanted to provide you all an update on the bridge. Undoubtedly, you're getting questions. We've been trying to do a good job of keeping the public updated on the progress. I have an outline here that I will run through very high level. At the end of this story, I'm going to jump ahead. You're going to hear we still haven't gotten the bridge moved up. But let me tell you all the work we've been trying to do to get there. So we were notified on March 3rd by Jefferson County of the defective sidewalk. If you haven't heard, the reason the decking, which is just a fancy way of saying the road we drive over, is still open, but the sidewalk is not, is that this is an I-beam that supports the sidewalk and not the bridge decking. According to the inspector, that is the only reason that we needed to close the sidewalk and not the decking of the bridge. So we were notified on the 3rd. We obviously instantly closed the sidewalk to the public. And then right away on the 4th, we started discussing with our bridge team at DOT, our county staff that deals with bridges, and our bridge inspector, which I'll reference as CORE. That's the company that's contracted. And we asked CORE to prepare a memo of repair alternatives so that we knew generally what we were working with and what we were looking at. And at the same time, we asked WISDOT to, again, look at the possibility of moving this bridge up. Then on March 7th, just 3 days later, we received a memo from CORE. It provided us 3 alternatives to making the repairs to the bridge. The cheapest one is $110,000, and it doesn't open the sidewalk, which is unacceptable, at least to me, and I think to our internal team as well. And then the options went up from there. I think the closest one was about $175,000. The $110,000 one left the sidewalk closed and essentially put the sidewalk out into Main Street, and then we'll lose parking as well. So that's just in order to move to move a safe walkway out onto Main Street is $110,000. So also on March 7th, WISDOT provided an update on the status of the bridge. Their environmental documents, they said is what can take some time, was being reviewed at their central office at WISDOT. And then once approved at central office, they said it would go on to the Federal Highway Administration. On March 7th, so this started on March 3rd. On March 7th, I contacted the Wisconsin Department of Transportation Secretary to request expedition of resolution for the Main Street Bridge replacement and Katy Street Bridge. And Katy Street Bridge is important in this. So after, we got after we caught the drift that our efforts to move this up wasn't likely going to happen before this bridge issue, we then said, okay, we're going to work with 2026. We need to make sure that Katy Street is up to being able to maintain the traffic that the Main Street Bridge detour will require. So we prepared an application for rehabilitation of that bridge based on obviously an assessment. So now we know that we need the rehab done on the Katy Street Bridge in order to sustain the closure and the traffic on the Main Street Bridge. So we asked WISDOT, both of those applications and processes are sitting in WISDOT's hands, and we said, can you please expedite both of those? March 10th, so a week later, we again discussed repair options with Jefferson County and said we need something better than $110,000 and no sidewalk open. And then on March 21st, we met, engineering and I met and went over those repair options again. And then a day after that, I contacted Senator Jagler. Actually, he reached out to us, which I appreciate, and we had a conversation about him requesting to expedite both the Main Street Bridge and the Katy Street Bridge. So right now, there is contact from both me and our senator into DOT to get both of these moved along. And then just last week, on April 1st, engineering met again with Jefferson County and Corps, which is the inspection company, and discussed alternatives. They're going to again follow up with better, in my opinion, I shouldn't say that, with additional repair options. WISDOT staff then did tell us, I think just maybe today or late Friday, that the environmental document they're hoping to be able to get that to Federal Highway and get that approved and signed by May 1st. So that's faster than what we were instructed. I think we were originally told it's like a year-long process. So I'm sure that work started before, but we were able to at least get that piece of it buttoned up. But as I said at the beginning of this brief summary, you're not going to hear me say that the bridge has gotten moved up. I think we're definitely, making the case that we need a more expeditious response and actionable work. And if any of you request that I come to Finance Committee and make a request to spend that money, please reach out to me, and I'll be happy to put that on the agenda. But I'm not going to be putting on the agenda a request to spend six figures to put into a bridge that, at least not at this point, to put into a bridge that's going to be torn down. We've already invested nearly $400,000. I think we've said there was a $300,000 repair in like 2016. I know I've been a part of like an $80,000 repair. So we've already invested a substantial amount of money in the bridge. And at this point, it just seems like we just need a faster timeline. So, questions? All right, very good. Okay, that is the bridge update. We have no new business. Let's go to the accounts payable.
Madam Mayor, I move we pay all accounts payable.
Thank you. Motion by Rumline, second by Bartz. Any discussion on these accounts? All right, Megan.
Romline,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Wint,
Abstain.
Ritten,
Abstain.
Bartz,
Aye.
Licht,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmidt,
Aye.
Wetzel,
Aye.
All right, thank you. Let's go to miscellaneous business. You have the payroll summary from February 23rd to March 8th and 9th through 22nd. The reserve balances and cash and investments both from January 31st. Any comments or questions on any of those? All right, let's go to our only ordinance then, which is ordinance 22-51. This is our weed commission section to amend section 136-1 in our general code. This is here from Alderman Wetzel in Public Works on the first reading.
I'll move for 2251.
Motion by Wetzel, second by Licht. Questions on this one? Mr. Schmidt?
So why are we changing the assistant street superintendent to weed commissioner? I mean, are they changing job responsibilities, or is this a formal title change? Do we have that many weed problems?
So we've, by statute, and you can interrupt me, Stephen, but by statute, we have to have a weed commissioner. It's essentially the person that can say, mow your grass, or we will mow it for you.
So this is a state thing?
It's statutory, am I correct in that? We're statutorily required to have a weed commissioner designated?
Yes, the statutes require that we have a weed commissioner. This doesn't actually rename the street superintendent as the weed commissioner. The current city ordinance has the weed commissioner designated as the street superintendent.
The assistant
Or the
street
assistant
superintendent.
street
So what we're doing is taking out the title so that we internally can just delegate that to someone. Right now, it makes more sense for it to be in Park and Rec because they're the one that actually then mows the lawn. So before, we would have to always have it be the assistant street superintendent. This is just saying it doesn't have to be the assistant street superintendent. We'll just designate a weed commissioner. And you all receive that in your council packets, who that person is.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I'm looking at this like we're just adding bureaucracy to bureaucracy.
No, nope,
Yeah.
that one's a state law.
So the state added bureaucracy to bureaucracy.
Well.
And we're stuck with it. My opinion. Yep, okay.
Any other questions? All right, Megan.
Wetzel,
Aye.
Romline,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Went,
Aye.
Ritten,
Aye.
Bartz,
Aye.
Lick,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Motion passed 9-0.
Thank you. All right, let's go on to resolutions then. And since Leon's here, we'll just keep the order, or not here, we'll keep the order that we have. Okay. So our first is Exhibit 9370. This is a resolution to purchase a new vehicle for the Health Department. This is here from me and the Finance Committee.
I'll make a motion to approve Exhibit 9370.
Thank you. Motion by Ritten.
I'll second.
By Davis. Sorry, Alderperson.
That's okay.
Moore. Comments or questions?
Question.
Mr. Wetzel.
A new vehicle, why a new vehicle? Why not a good used vehicle?
Yeah, you can come up.
So our environmental health program does programming in both Dodge and Jefferson counties. So there are, not the last 2 years, but previous to that, most of the staff will put on between 40 and 50,000 miles a year. So prudent to purchase a new vehicle, reliable.
And can you speak to the budget that this comes from?
Yes, so this is a non-levy budget. It's supported with grants and fees for licenses, so it's not levied.
So I do have a question.
Sure.
And how did we get a vehicle? Is this price locked in, not subject to change based on manufacturer's recommendation to delay in shipping almost 6 to 8 months to the dealership?
So we contacted vendors, request for proposal, and this detail that I gave you is what I received from each vendor, from each auto dealer.
How long are they committing to the price?
So I would say 30 days from the day that we got the
Not for us to order.
yes, to lock in.
It's for us to order.
Right, and order the vehicle. The delivery date, which is a surprise, but not in today's world. So the difference is 30 weeks versus 26 weeks or 180 days, even with using the taxpayer benefit.
I'm impressed at the pricing, that's why I was asking, because I looked at MSRP and all of these before coming in, so that's why I'm asking. And so if they're saying the price is good, that's curious they're willing to put that in writing, not subject to manufacturer change in the pricing, that they're going to guarantee that price for you, because that works out to be roughly 6 to 8 grand below MSRP for that same exact vehicle.
So
It's a good price, so
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with the pricing. And if they're going to put it in writing guaranteeing that is our out-the-door price, I'm impressed. So,
So when we buy new vehicles, we receive the government discount. That's why they have to be ordered. They can't be taken new off the lot.
okay.
Yeah, the specs are government specs.
Question.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments on this one? All right, Megan.
Ritten,
Aye.
Bartz,
Aye.
Lick,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmidt,
Aye.
Wetzel,
Aye.
Romline,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Went.
Aye.
Motion passed 9-0.
All right. Let's go to Exhibit 9371. This is a resolution to enter into an MOU as interim public health officer with Dodge County. This is here from me and the Finance Committee.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Motion by Wendt, seconded by Bartz. Questions, comments?
So this is, if I understand it, Carol would be operating in a dual hat capacity essentially?
Carol, under this MOU, we're allocating, do you want to speak to it? Oh, you looked like you were ready to speak. Is it 8 hours? 6 hours? 6 to 8 hours a month. 6 to 8 hours a month. So the county has to have a designated public health officer,
Okay.
and theirs resigned, and they haven't been able to fill that position. So Fond du Lac County served in that capacity for a few months. And then they ended with Fond du Lac County, and now are asking for us to be that official public health officer. What we're really committing to is 6 to 8 hours a month. And, you know, should there be what example did I give? Like a random guinea pig issue, like we've had in the past, then Carol would have to step in for them.
Until they find their own, essentially?
Yep.
So this is like a,
And we
Yeah.
gave an end date of August 1st.
okay, so this is short term.
Yep.
And I noticed there's a difference in the printed packet versus the one in our email is they can't essentially pull her into their purview for a year after the agreement is over.
Yep, that was a request at Finance Committee. And then on your desk, there was one change. It's the one that you're considering. It changed the word counties to parties.
Correct. In the very first paragraph, the only change between the copy that should have been emailed to you and the copies that's printed is in that first line where it says, this memorandum of understanding is made by and between the Dodge County, hereafter Dodge, and City of Watertown, hereafter Watertown. Collectively, in the electronic file, it says counties. In the printed copy, it says parties, just because the City of Watertown is not a county, so.
So it's a broader encompassing term. Okay.
The only change that was made to the printed copy.
Other comments or questions on this one? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, very good. Let's go to Exhibit 9372. This is a resolution to award the 2022 crack ceiling contract number 2-22 to Thunder Road LLC for $37,272.75. This is here from Alderman Wetzel and Public Works.
I'll move. Go ahead.
Motion by Wetzel. Was there a second over there? Okay, second by Rumline. Great. Questions, comments? All right, Megan.
Wetzel,
Aye.
Romline,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Went,
Aye.
Ritten,
Aye.
Bark,
Aye.
Licht,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Motion passed 9-0.
All right, let's go to Exhibit 9373. This is a resolution to submit the urban non-point source and stormwater management construction grant for biofilter construction at the Yardway site. This is here for me and the Finance Committee. Thank you. Motion by Romline, second by Mr. Bartz. Questions on this one? We're not committing ourselves to any funds in this one, correct? Or there is a match?
This is just to submit, we come back when we get a contract.
Okay. And we should be fine with voice vote. Any comments? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All righty, let's go to the next. Exhibit 9374, also a resolution to submit the urban non-point source and stormwater management construction grant for the 2023 annual street and utility program stormwater improvements. This is here from me and the Finance Committee.
I'll make a motion to approve Exhibit 9374.
Motion by Ritten, second by Licht. Questions or comments on this one?
Same thing as the last, it's just an application.
This would actually be pretty incredible because we'll do stormwater improvements in 2023 anyway, but the grant would help pay for those.
Okay.
If we were the recipient, so. Good grant work on this one. Any other comments? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, let's go to Exhibit 9375. This is a resolution to authorize a 7-year agreement with John's Disposal Service to process recycling. Also here from Alderman Wetzel and Public Works.
Madam Mayor, I move for 9375.
All right, motion by Romley.
I'll second.
Second by Wetzel. Questions or comments on this one?
So these prices are fixed, we're not going to get jacked up on them down the road?
This fixes us for 7 years.
Okay.
Into the terms of this contract. Correct, Alderman Wetzel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Barks?
And we estimated that over the next, since we're renegotiating this contract, we had 3 years left of the former contract. So over the next 3 years, we'll save the city by approving this contract about $200,000.
Just as for the record, Johns came to us
Yeah.
and said, hey, we could save you some money if we renegotiate this. So kudos to Johns.
Anybody else on this one? All right, Megan?
Romline,
All right.
Davis,
Aye.
Quint,
Aye.
Witten.
Aye.
Bartz.
Aye.
Licht.
Aye.
Wagner. Aye. Schmid.
Aye.
Wetzel.
Aye.
Motion passed 9-0.
All right, let's go to our next, which is Exhibit 9376. This is a resolution for the retirement of Leon Reuter from the Police Department. This here from me.
So moved.
Motion by Lick. I'm going to give a second to Mr. Ritten. You good with that?
Sure.
All right. Mr. Ritten, would you mind just reading this one out loud?
Sure. Whereas Leon Reuter has served as an employee in the Police Department of the City of Watertown since November 12, 1987, and whereas Leon Reuter has dedicated 34 years of his career to serving the citizens of the City of Watertown, and whereas Leon Reuter has demonstrated integrity, knowledge, and professionalism in his work for the City of Watertown, and now therefore be it resolved that the Common Council of the City of Watertown extends sincere gratitude to Leon Reuter for his years of public service and wishes him many happy and rewarding years of retirement.
Thank you. Anyone want to comment on this one? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, let's go to our next. This is Exhibit 9377. This is a resolution to revise the municipal bond schedule. This is here from me and the Finance Committee.
I'll move to approve Exhibit 9377.
Motion by Ritten,
I'll second.
second by Went. Questions or comments on this one?
What's the baseline of some of these?
The recommended forfeiture and then the total deposit, I asked him to add the columns. That's, wait a second,
I can speak to that a little
Oh,
bit,
thank
Your
you.
Honor, if you'd like.
please.
The recommended forfeiture is based upon the minimum and maximum set forth by statutes. In a lot of cases, it's averages. In other cases, it's what we've been doing in the past. The total deposit is under statutes. There's certain court costs that have to be added on to various forfeitures and fines. And so that raises the recommended forfeiture from whatever it's set at to the total deposit amount. The recommended forfeiture is almost never set at the bottom amount because it allows the city latitude to negotiate for any fines or forfeitures that are issued to try and reduce the cost for litigation and trials.
So this is on top of the ones that are redundant to existing state code.
What?
Right, so for some of these that have, that are overlapping state things, specifically for like motor vehicles, this is on top of those as well? Or is this separate just to look within the local city municipality?
You would only get cited in one, either the local municipal citation for the forfeiture in municipal court or the state statute.
Okay.
And so
So like, I question some of these in regards to the min-maxing, in regards to some of the pricing and the validity of them. Like, how do you enforce things that don't have a registry? Like the bike one, for example.
Yeah.
How do you enforce a bike registry if there isn't one? And how do you guarantee that the bike is registered without engraving an actual serial number in each individual bike?
We have a bike license.
there's a bike license.
Is it like a license plate or is it
It's a
engraved?
sticker.
You get a sticker from us and we write down the serial number of your bike.
So how do we, I mean, how do you get that to enforce people who don't have it? I mean, that's one of those codings that doesn't make sense to me. Like, we have a fee if someone has a bicycle that's not registered. You can get fined. I mean, that, again, I would question the validity of several of these, along with some of the redundancy of them. So as it sits, I can't approve this.
So I just want to draw attention, the only thing that's changed from the one that's already been approved, and Jacob, you can help fill in the blanks here. So the judge realized there wasn't an amount set for building construction, zoning, building construction, electrical standards,
Plumbing was the other one.
plumbing, building and plumbing. So just building and plumbing? And,
Commercial property maintenance.
okay, so building, plumbing, and commercial property maintenance. Those are the only additions. The other one is, the other items are already approved in our code.
Maybe I just took a
This
closer look
is
at this one.
maybe, just I see there's a cat license required and a fine, but I thought we did away with cat licenses. Am I wrong?
I think we did.
We did.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did.
So
I
the-
wonder how many bike fines we give out per year in Watertown for no licenses. I never see them on my block.
I can tell you I've not seen any citations.
And Stephen, will you speak to, the judge sets the bond schedule, correct? We just consider it at council.
Correct. And
So it came to finance at the request of the judge. Any other comments or questions? Okay, Megan?
Written,
Aye.
Bartz,
Aye.
Licht,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmid,
No.
Wetzel,
Aye.
Brumline,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Went.
Aye.
Motion passed 8-1.
All right, let's go to Exhibit 9378. This is a preliminary resolution to vacate alley right-of-way known as the western entrance to the City of Watertown Public Library. This is here for me and the Plan Commission. Motion by Bromline, seconded by Ms. Davis. Questions or comments on this one?
So which part in the map is exactly we're vacating? Is it section 114?
The part that says alley? And this is just a first step in order for us to be able to have this all on one lot. I was going to say plot. So this is the first step so that we can have all of these parcel numbers on one lot.
Okay, because I don't remember seeing alley there. Is that prior to the construction?
It is, no, it's the alley that, so like if you come off Washington Street where you would go in for the book drop, it used to be in that area. So it's actually where, before the new library, and you can stop me, Jacob, but it's my understanding, where the employees used to park.
Okay, so it's that section?
Yeah, kind of off of Washington Street. more
Okay.
So then in the back of the library, off of Emmett,
Okay.
right? Yep. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Let's take the roll. Yes, we should.
Brumline,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Went,
Aye.
Written,
Aye.
Bartz,
Aye.
Licht,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmid,
Aye.
Wetzel.
Aye.
Motion passed 9-0.
All right, and our last is Exhibit 9379. This is a resolution to accept revisions of the 1541R Boomer Street in the city of Watertown, Jefferson County. This is with the Humane Society and authorizing the use thereof. That sounds like something a city attorney would have written. That is here from me and the Plan Commission.
Madam Mayor,
Yeah.
I would like to defer motion for 9379 to Alderperson Wendt, as this is her last
Oh,
time.
would you like to make the motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Went,
Second.
second by Mr. Wetzel. We will bring her back. Give her proper fanfare. We normally do that after the
Yes.
election. But I appreciate that. Any discussion or question on this one?
Could you give me a 30-second synopsis of what's going on?
Go ahead, Stephen.
This is the property that the Humane Society used to operate as the pet cemetery. They decided to no longer operate the property as a pet cemetery, and under the deed which they obtained the property, the city had deeded the property to them and said, if you ever stop using this property as a pet cemetery, it comes and reverts back to the city. So this is the resolution simply accepting that version of the property back to the city, so that it's clear that the city's accepted the parcel. We'll file the resolution with the deed that transfers it to us, and then that'll make it officially the city's property.
Any other questions? All right, Megan.
Went,
Aye.
Written,
Aye.
Bartz,
Aye.
Licht,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmid,
Aye.
Wetzel,
Aye.
Brumline,
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Motion passed 9-0.
All right, our next is comments and suggestions from citizens present. I don't see anyone online, and this is all of our city team. So with that, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Schmid,
Second.
by Wendt. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Bravo, the person went.